Hi, so as always, I like to share what I've been learning, and I've been training at the UCLA TFT, so that's Television, Film, and Theatre School, I believe. And it's not even been a month, but I really wanted to share this experience. Megan, one of the tutors, she teaches us on Tuesdays, brought a guest, Amanda Schull, and or is it Schull? Yes, it's more like an open vowel. Anyway, and I have a few notes, and I would love to share them with you. They both trained. Maybe it's going to be flipped, but it's the Warner Loughlin technique. This is the recommended reading. I found it really cool. Anyway, so I've Amazoned it, and it's on the way here. So it says, Megan says, take the journey of the character. So in order to like be less stressed or anxious or scared about an audition, it's like getting out of your head and into your character. And what Amanda said repeatedly was that actually preparation was the best and only way she knew of dealing with being nervous or scared of, if you do enough work and preparation and you feel solid with that, then things go smoother. So make sure that you know what the stakes are of the scene. What if you won? What if you got what you wanted? And what if you lost or didn't get what you wanted? What are the stakes? Is it life or death? Is someone about to die? Or is it that you're betting on a house that is the house of your dreams, and what if you win it, then you can have your perfect life, and if you lose it, then you're never going to find the perfect house for you, for instance. I don't know. Obviously, the higher the stakes, the more interesting the drama to watch. So when you're choosing things, when you have your choices, make sure ask yourself, what is the most interesting choice? And another thing that we discussed is going along with what rings true to yourself and to the character that you're getting to know, because it's always really cool when you see someone that completely takes the character and makes it their own. It tends to be different than what everyone else brings, which would be a more like superficial reading of who the person is. And I think we're all very individually interesting human beings, so that's what we're there for, to like bring to life through us, through who we are, bring to life this character. Anyway, so you make sure you have clear stakes and know what you want, and then be there for your partner. So that's like the most important thing, giving. And I find that beautiful and stunning. Like, even, sometimes people say, oh, it's such a cutthroat industry and stuff, but when the truth of that, of the industry, is that actually it's about giving, and it's about the other person. It's never about yourself. And when you take the pressure off yourself because you're just focused on the one, what you want and the person you're talking to, and that's it. I mean, you can focus on like the imaginary, place where you're at, if you can physically see it, but still you're like on set, so you're still imagining that that's real and true, and it is real and true for your character. Yeah, so you get out of your head, as in like, oh, I'm the actor, I feel this. Well, no. Like, you're a character, you're this person. Another thing that really helps is before entering into the scene, what is your character thinking? Because it's true that your mind can only hold one thought at a time. So if you're thinking your own thoughts, like, oh my god, I'm so nervous, or like, it's okay to acknowledge them, but then like, people are not paying or not to see you. They're paying to see the character. Even if they're not paying, they're expecting you to bring the character, not just yourself, because then it gets kind of boring, right? If you're just playing yourself in every situation. There's a degree of yourself to every character, but I mean, there's a variety, because people are unique, and different circumstances make people different. Anyway, moving on. Amanda did say that she tells the DP, if there's a suits scene, and she, supposedly starts already by the file cabinet, and she's reading things. When someone enters the room and the scene starts, she tells the DP, do you mind just tracking me while I go towards the cabinet? And she's already made the decision why she needs to go to the cabinet. It already gives the scene like a jumping off point, and like it gives a dynamism. And yeah, and it's interesting. This is really important. Make sure you start somewhere and then you finish somewhere totally different. That's really exciting when you see the shift. You know, like two characters, they hate each other, and by the end of it, it's like the spark of love. Holy, who would have thought? You know, really fun. And then this is what Megan said: work in a safe way, and it's about the craft. It's not about you, and give more than you take. Then I think it was Amanda who said, pinpoint some moments in your character's life that led them to speak in this specific way. You know, why did they choose these specific words to speak, to describe sort of what they're feeling? Why do they have certain reactions that may be odd, or, you know, what are the points in their life that led them to have that reaction in this present moment? You know, oh, it's because, like, I don't know, 2 years ago, they lost a cat that they loved, and so now they can't really, like, pick up cats, and they hate cats, and it just adds richness, you know, like, you could see it, you see the details, like, it's so yummy. And then, yeah, again, education is power, so, like, being prepared makes you feel safer. Oh, and what if, like, the whole backstory that you've created, this was my question, so I was like, what if the whole backstory that I created for my character is, like, erased, but when the director's like, oh, by the way, like, your character is really happy about this, and I was like, oh shoot, like, all my preparation was that this is actually a really terrifying moment for her. And I mean, that's a bad example, but what if, you know, the director says, oh, she's an only child, and you're like, oh my god, I pictured, you know, that she had a sibling. And imagine if that is important, you know, that was actually important for the scene that you're working on. Then what I used to do, because my understanding of training in the UK was that never question the director, never, like, ask them for, like, not never, but, like, just don't be that actor that's like, oh, sorry, I don't understand, or can you repeat that, or, like, again, because it, you know, you don't want to be the center of attention in a group that where everyone wants to be the center of attention. It's, like, really weird. But so I, like, always kept my mouth shut, being like, of course, director, you're always right. And as much as, like, we all want to be helpful, Amanda did say, like, ask questions, be like, oh, so she does have a sibling. Oh, my bad. Like, I thought she didn't. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna, yeah, now I get it. Now we're on the same page. And that, you know, you get it, you're taking it off your chest, because, like, I remember one time when I was, like, in a scene, and this is the first time that this had happened, and it's not too long ago, and then, like, I was like, I don't understand anything, because, like, my preparation was so different, like, it doesn't make sense that my character would be like this because of everything that I prepared. And I found it so hard to let it go, because I thought, you know, I had read so many, you know, of the, what's it called, all the episodes before I thought I had done so much work, so I just, like, stayed my mouth shut. But that just, like, led me to have a really confused second go at the scene. I was like, meow. Whereas if I would have just asked and clarified, then I wouldn't be wasting anybody's time, you know, because I'd be actually giving it a go, understanding what is being asked of me. So anyway, if you're ever stuck in that situation, just ask a question, or be like, oh, that's what. And then obviously, like, measure what things are like in the room, you know, if, like, people are pressed for time, obviously don't be like, oh, that's why, because I remember when I was, like, people would be like, girl, we don't have time. But if, you know, we're going good, it'd be like, oh, cool, that's why. So anyway, you got it. And then follow successes with work. This is what I love. I really do love this. You know, I grew up in a house where, like, everyone's working in different things, but still there's this huge idea that work is amazing. Oh my god, I'm alone in the house. Was that a ghost? Anyway, whatever. Oh, and Amanda did say the font size in comedies are usually bigger. So then you know what kind of style or genre it is, and read everything that you can get your hands on that pertains the audition that you're going to. If they give you the whole freaking script, do it. Like, I remember the first audition I had when so I landed in LA at night, and then the following day I had my first audition at, like, 8 a.m. and I freaking read, so, like, it was a scene based on a film based on a book, and I freaking read, you know, the book, read about the author, read the script, obviously did my scene work and stuff, and I didn't get it. But it was, there's no excuse, you know, like, don't play it safe in the sense, like, when I was I think it was when I was younger, I remember thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna give it my all because well, then if I don't make it, at least I know that I didn't give it my all. So it's not that I sucked, it's like I just didn't give it my all, so I know the next time I could if I wanted to. It's that thing. And it's like so silly because like you only learn really when you go full out and you did your 150%, and next time you also do your 150%, and the next time and the next and the next, and you just keep learning that way. It's much more fun. Like, I cannot, like, I remember one time I was auditioning for this amazing show that I would have died to just be in. Like, oh my god, that was probably one of the best days of my life, of just being able to audition for this show. And oh man, and I gave it my everything to that thing. Always, I mean, now I think about it, I'm like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. But back then, you know, when I was preparing it, I was like, I did everything I could when I thought was best. And that was so satisfying. I didn't get it, but oh my gosh, like, I felt like I was back on track. Like, I was pursuing my dreams by just doing full out. Anyway, and then, Amanda, she trained in ballet. She was part of the San Francisco Ballet for like 7 years, dancing professionally. She said, dance class helps you to physically create the character so that when you walk into a room, how this person sits, you know, it's like, if I'm like this, it's different than if I'm like, or whatever, do you know what I mean? Anywho, that has been all. It's a bit longer than I expected, but yes. And then I just wanted to say that I did a scene from Grey's Anatomy, and as Katherine Heigl's character. And then Amanda was like, oh yeah, by the way, during break time, I texted Katherine Heigl to say that, you know, there's a mini or a scene thing, and I was like, this is what happens here in LA. It's so weird. Like, for instance, I had a meeting with a lawyer today, and the lawyer's office was in the same building where SAG-AFTRA is, or like it's called, I don't know, I saw the sign of SAG-AFTRA, and I was like, oh my god, that's like such a milestone for actors here. So I don't know, it was like, ooh, so weird. Everything is so real here, you know. But sunshine's great, sunshine, and I'd love to take up surfing.